Welcome back to the RPN cast, hosted by me, Reese Smith. Sorry. Basketball season is here. Statewide in the PIAA, high school teams have tipped off 2 weeks ago to last weekend to even certain teams starting today. Winter sports are officially here and basketball is back in the spotlight. My scholastic season started last week on Wednesday and Friday as I had a 3-game jaunt. First starting off with Cedar Cliff and East Penn. Then moving into the York Suburban Classic on Friday, where I had a double, you can call it a Mid-Penn doubleheader, back-to-back, with Mount Zion Prep's varsity as they took on Trinity, and then Chambersburg battled the home team in York Suburban for 2 games and a very entertaining night. Now, I know this week Mid-Penn Conference play officially starts, so I will be having a discussion to show an early preview of the Mid-Penn Conference while kind of giving off a predicament of division winners and how certain Tier 1 teams can go on, maybe some teams on the come up as well, but giving my early thoughts on how Mid-Penn Conference play will go. This might get pretty interesting. I will try to keep this as short as possible, but I wanted to do this, so I will get to it. If you know me, let's just tackle this. Change is inevitable. Let me repeat that again. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Now, I'm not a pastor, preacher, whatever label you have for it, but it's a general truth. There has been change in the Mid-Penn Conference these last couple of years, whether it's been the quality of individual talent, who's hot versus who's not, team-wise, or more recently with conference realignment. Now I know we've all seen the madness with how it's been done on the college end of it in FBS or Power 5, but within the Mid-Penn, there's been shift, but not that much shift within where teams are going and who they're playing on their schedules. The Commonwealth and the Keystone Divisions inside the MPC are the same. Commonwealth, Altoona, Carlisle, CD East, CD, Chambersburg, Cumberland Valley, Harrisburg, and State College. The Keystone, Cedar Cliff, Hershey, Lower Dolphin, Mechanicsburg, Milton Hershey, MHS, Palmyra, Redland, and Mifflin County. Now, the Colonial and Capital have been remixed, but not remixed that much compared to when they did it in 2020. From the Colonial, Big Spring and James Buchanan, who were there in years past, have now swapped with the Capitals, East Penn, and Middletown. The new Colonial Division, Gettysburg, Greencastle Antrim, East Pennsboro, Middletown, Northern York, Shippensburg, Waynesboro, and West Perry. The new capital, Big Spring, McDevitt, Boiling Springs, Camp Hill, James Buchanan, Stilton High Spire, Still High, whatever people on the outside call it, Susquehanna Township, Susquehanna, or the Hannah, and then Trinity, the Holy Trinity, Trinity High. Let me stop being extra. The point is, there was only a 2-team swap compared to how they restructured football around completely. But today I will be giving takes on my opinions with each division, winners that come out, and an early portion of what the Mid-Penn tournament might look like in February. Yeah, so on the boys' side, my winner, or who comes out of the division, would be Cumberland Valley. I believe David Vespagnani has done an outstanding job with rebuilding CV's program back, and even them winning the division last year, and in recent memory, having 2 District 3 title appearances, losing to Reading almost 2 years ago, and then beating Chambersburg last year. They've continuously built up on not just their wins, but even culture has been set. And again, guys there, they know the expectation. Nolan Bazooka, football guy, Creston Austin, now the 2 sophomores within Jared Olympio, Aiden Deal, to even JJ Lebo and Ron Nguyen. Backcourt seniors can come and fill it up if they need to. They will have many pieces to work off of, and all 5 guys on the floor are threats to score, well coachable, and they'll even have some role players filling it out this year as well. Vest will see how lineups will work, but if they win the division and I see them back at the Giants Center in February to early March, I wouldn't be surprised. But don't sleep on Central Dauphin, Chambersburg, or even Carlisle, as I feel this could easily be a 4-team kind of race. CD featuring Navy commit Wayne Fletcher, Jelani Easter, Shakur Starling, Richard Chase, even throw in Zaire Starling. They have a lot of pieces to work with as well. They're very guard heavy. Their low post work is the main concern, as they're not very tall this year or have a big, but we'll see how they will navigate through that issue and can hang with people. But I was very impressed with CD's win against Archbishop Bryan this past weekend and setting that statement early. To even Chambersburg this year, they have Ohio commit JJ Kelly, has had a fantastic summer with Team Mello and EYBL, into even some sideline cancer guys, Colton Cornwell, Landon Berman, 2 2026s. I was impressed with them on Friday against York Suburban when they won 56-51. But JJ has been in complete takeover mode. Started off a bit slow on Friday, but picked it up on Saturday when they beat York High, and JJ had a 30 clip from what I heard. Hopefully that's accurate, so I'll have to confirm with my source. But they will be in the hunt as well, and Colton has played phenomenal to start. 22 early on Friday, and he's coming along nicely, so shout out to him. But even Carlisle could get interesting, as replacing Jaden Smith, who's now at Ship, they'll have to find that next leader, and it's not just a vocal leader, but someone to do it by example, right? And Parker Smith has been good so far. He just got his 1,000-point this weekend against Chichester at the crib. But even 6'8", Tyler Rural, my guy, big man, he's more confident, more coordinated, but has really filled out nicely in the low post, and even can stretch his game out to 15 feet and knock down a mid-range jumper. I've been really impressed by him and the work he's put in this offseason, and now it's starting to pay off. This can be a 4-team race, in my belief, but I think Cumberland Valley will eventually come out. But you never know inside of the Commonwealth, so it can get pretty interesting. Within the Keystone Division, I have to give it to Mechanicsburg. That's pretty self-explanatory, in my opinion, but they returned back a lot of guys. Josh Smith, Princeton football recruit, Chance Yanofsky, West Virginia Wesleyan recruit. Both guys have over 1,000 points within the last 2 years on their resume, and even adding Justin Bardo as well. They've created a three-headed monster for any opposing team's game plan, and knowing Coach Gaffey, he's going to find a way to win no matter who's there. We have to admit that at this point. He will find a way. No matter if he has more talent or less talent, he's always going to play up to his strengths of the team's sake, and they've always found a way to get it done, especially winning District 3 5A last year, and had a pretty strong opening state game too. You never know with Mechanicsburg, so I think they'll take that division, but don't be surprised if LD and Hershey try to battle out for that second place spot. Hershey, they have Cam Sweeney and James Campbell. LD, Nico DeFrank, Brady Hofsass. But all in all, I think Mechanicsburg is going to take the Keystone, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, with the Colonial Division, we all know it's not the highest quality of basketball teams, but adding East Penn and Middletown from the Capital Division, in my belief, I think it's going to be a two-team race between Middletown and East Penn. Might be a bit bold, but my choice here would be East Pennsboro. Them moving into the Colonial and still remaining within 5A, I think their backs are against the wall, having to prove more to people on the outside, and also missing their leading scorer and someone who's as dynamic as Darrell Everett. I think they can find their identity and win this division. Hayden Lay, he's in his junior year now, has filled out a bit more, added on muscle, plays a lot stronger now, especially on the perimeter, always looking to stay shot ready, and having different pieces such as newcomer Logan Collette, had 17 against Cedar Cliff last week. Ali Alami, Ryan Siebert, they will find their footing, in my opinion. And Middletown has to replace Mason Blazer. He's a guy who can get an immediate bucket, someone you have to be able to stay in front of. But missing him, especially as a bigger guard, they're going to have to find what will work. And I know Chris Bradford will do that. But it's going to be a two-team race. But I would go with East Penn. Just to take a bold statement there. Draw my money and put it in the bag, and not gamble on it, but yeah, I would say East Penn just to be a little bold about it, but that's just me. So now that y'all figured out that I'm crazy, let's move on to the Capital Division. Now, what I always loved about the Capital is that it's a tough division. It's very, very scrappy. Those games that come down to the wire, some of those small schools having such large crowds, but there's a lot of underrated parts about the Capital Division to this year with the addition of Big Spring. Now, Big Spring's coming from the Colonial, but they've started to really build on their program. Last year having their best season in program history, going all the way to the district championship game, and then getting to the state tournament for the first time. They bring back a 1,000-point scorer Aiden Sally, senior, 2025. Brexton Heckendorn has a leg injury at the moment. Hopefully he comes back. Don't know a specific timeline. He's a big. To even Aiden Martinez, 6'2 guard, won newcomer of the year last year. I think Big Spring will fill out nicely in this division, but they also have a secret weapon. Landon Sally, younger brother of Aiden Sally. He was under my guy, Vinny Gambalungi, with Central PA Elite. We call him CPE out here. But he can fill up from 3. He's around 6'1", 6'2". But it's going to be interesting to see him play high school-like competition now and see how he evens out and can compete against much older guards, especially within a Capital Division setting. McDevitt was very young, but competitive last year, and they were just on the line of making 4A playoffs, especially under a new head coach with Jason Grace. Now they're adding Demir Arp, who's a freshman and has experience playing against grown men in the BMD League. If you know about the BMD League, it gets pretty serious out there. It gets pretty serious out there in the summer, but having him playing against grown men and getting that experience of, again, playing physicality, having to play a lot faster, but more structured, I think he'll do pretty well inside of his freshman year, and this just benefits McDevitt even more. All in all, I think Trinity will win this division. Boiling Springs is also on the hunt as well. Let me not forget about them. But I believe Trinity is going to win this division again. They have the numbers. They have more depth than last year. But again, Owen Schlager, Sienna commit, can do anything he wants to at will, scoring the ball from all 3 levels. Dre Steele, Reese Brown on the perimeter, to adding Nick Smith, area kid, spent his freshman year in Maryland. He's a nice addition. You got Maddox Jarzinski, a Maryland kid. He's a junior at the school. Kenyon Porty is a sophomore, seen some varsity experience last year. Liam Sexton, a 6'7" kid, baseball kid, but has found his footing within the program. But I think Trinity will fill out pretty nicely. And even Marcus Yeager, again, coming off a really good football season and adding that much-needed depth to Trinity's roster, I think Trinity will win this division. But now having Big Spring, Boiling Springs, and Bishop McDevitt all fighting it out, I believe this can get very interesting. But I would say Trinity. My 4, CB, MEC, East Penn, and Trinity winning their divisions. I'll eat my words if I go 3 for 4 or 2 for 4, but it's just an early predicament of what I'm starting to see. But now, let's move on to girls basketball. Now, I know for the girls' side, there has been a decrease in talent. More recently, last season, a lot of girls have went on. Skylar Coles, Alexis Ferguson, Cassidy Sadler, Haley Noblet, Jaden Kroll, blah, blah, blah. But now can get interesting because a lot of other girls can make a name for themselves. You know, people always look towards the most negative thing about situations, but they don't raise questions enough. They don't seek out a lot for what's more newer happening, right? But I think this year can definitely be for a lot of other girls to figure out who they are on the court and who can be that next Mid-Penn star, as I feel like it's wide open. You know, especially with the Hoopers, it's wide open. But Looking at the Commonwealth, it's going to be a 2-team race between Altoona and CD. CD has graduated some people, Lex Ferguson most notably. Altoona has also graduated one of their most hardest working players and pretty positionless with Jaden Kroll. But between Altoona and Central Dauphin, they've gone at each other's throats these last couple of years too for the division, but I believe Altoona will come out the Commonwealth. Positives, they bring back their whole backcourt. Elena Iyer, who's going to Shippensburg. Zaylin Nguyen Moore, is one of mine, has 2 offers from Delaware and St. Francis, to even Lainey Wilt, who's going to DUville. I think that Altoona can once again clinch this division, their second time in 3 years, but also adding Brianna Hudson, who is starting to make a name for herself out there, has played with Philly Rise within EYBL this year as well, or going to be in EYBL. She's now a freshman. I think Altoona can make some noise, and Flegel always has his teams ready, no matter who is there. The only concern with Altoona is they don't have a 5. They don't have much of a low post presence, and CD could possibly get them in that department. Of course, bringing Olivia Green back, 2026, who was just most recently named PennLive's preseason player of the year. And they have another 6'3" girl on CD as well with Michaela Mattenchuk. Hopefully I said that right. It could go between both teams, but I think off experience alone, I have to go with Altoona as my pick for the Commonwealth. But, Cumberland Valley might get a bit better this year from the younger season last year with Sienna Mans, Sinai Hill there. And Carlisle could make some waves too. But all in all, I have to give it to Altoona. Now, for the Keystone Division, I don't have much of a take here, but I have Mechanicsburg winning the Keystone. I'm looking at this list and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be Mechanicsburg winning this division. But they return a lot of pieces back. The 2026s, Elena Sweet, Macy Yanofsky, and two-sport standout Lauren Lebo in the paint. But also Asher Pratt, who shot in the high 30s last year as a freshman from three-point land. Mechanicsburg should take this easily. I know Palmyra and CC, I can visualize them challenging them the 2 times that they do play them. Excuse me. But I believe Mechanicsburg will take this. But my main concern for Mechanicsburg is really consistency, right? In the past, especially these last 2 years, you could even say 3 at that from my time at PL and seeing games. They're a very inconsistent ball club, and I feel like they don't play up to their strengths, right? Not saying they don't have a different leading scorer every single night, but in terms of like energy levels and just sometimes playing really carelessly or playing down the competition, I've known Mech to be best in doing this. And they escaped some games to open their season last week against Ephrata and New York High, but the turnover count has been atrocious, and Elena Sweet just doesn't seem to be getting the ball a lot too. And you would think that a player of the year last year in the division would be getting a lot of touches. She would be the star of the team, right? But they really need to figure out that offense through Elena Sweet, but also where does Macy Yanofsky impact the game? They need to get on the same page amongst all of them in that starting lineup. And, once Lauren Lebo is back from Keystone FC play within club ball. I think they'll have it figured out, but they really need to get on the same page and have a much cleaner outing. As again, they're now in 6A, and yeah, you can beat up on all the Keystone teams you want to, but when you're out of the conference, do you really scare anybody? But besides that, that's just my only challenge to Mechanicsburg, is to, again, get on the same page, play a clean game, move the ball a lot more, and just come with a sense of pride and toughness, right? The path is right in front of you to win a division, get into districts, but somebody really needs to step up as a leader, and everybody needs to get on the same page. Besides that, Mechanicsburg wins the Keystone. That is all. Moving on to the Colonial Division. On the girls' side, adding in Middletown definitely shakes up the division, because brutally, seeing the Colonial the past couple of years, it's boring, and it's only been between Northern and Greencastle. Now, adding in Middletown, who has a lot of speed, Jayla Kozer and Emma Cleland, both all-conference picks last year. Jayla has some offers under her belt. Now this puts more pressure on Northern and Greencastle to hoop. In my opinion, I have Middletown taking the Colonial. Northern will still be good from what they have. Anna Lehman, who's going to JMU for track, is there. Taylon Townsend will have an upgraded role this year. Abby Freese, soccer player, is going to Central Michigan. She's in basketball this year, coming off a good soccer season as well. Delaney Schmick will have an upgraded role. Liv Montgomery should be in there as well within the starting lineup, or just, again, in the rotation. But Middletown with Jayla and Emma alone, Northern can go toe-to-toe, and Greencastle lives and dies by the three ball. But I think Middletown will escape and win that division with this now division conference, whatever, realignment. But yeah, I think the Blue Raiders are going to take it, and we can see what they're going to do in districts as well. But as long as Middletown can play as a team, I think they're very capable of doing something big. But again, it all goes back to coaching and making people feel valuable and not just focusing everything on Jayla. It's just my opinion. But Middletown will win a Colonial, and let's just move on to the Capital. Looking at the Capital Division in 2025 as we go further into the season, this looks like Trinity's divisional win. That is my choice. A lot of people are in favor of Shamrocks winning another Capital Division. It's been 2 years since they've been in the Mid-Penn tournament, but I believe that they're going to be back. A lot of returners, and even getting Emma Kostelak-Lauer back, who was on PennLive's newcomer team a couple of years ago as a freshman. They're going to be rolling, and they're already 2-0, beating Conestoga Valley and Twin Valley this past weekend. Bella Dupes even getting tournament MVP out there. But again, Emma comes back. Ashley Berkheimer upgraded role in her junior year. Bella Dupes, the Stair twins, Abby and KK. But this could be a fun group to watch this year, as long as Chrissy Britton uses her rotations and lineups carefully and they play as a team. That's how I see it. But again, you don't know what could be up Bishop McDevitt's sleeve. Big Spring is now in the division. Boiling Springs, led by Molly Kimmel, who had 18 points a game last year, was a PennLive Big 15 pick. You never know what could happen, but I think Trinity is going to take the capital. But to end this off, whatever is going on at Susquehanna Township, that needs to get fixed real quick. So if y'all are going to ask me because I went to the school, I have no comment as I'm not there, let alone I know just as much as y'all. I wanted to state that before I ended that, but please stop asking me questions I don't have answers to. I am the source, but again, I'm in the public. I know just as much as y'all do. But yeah, I would pretty much have Trinity for this division, and I think that's a good way for the girls basketball to even out with Altoona, Mechanicsburg, Middletown, and Trinity. But again, I'll eat my words if things come about, but I have a good feeling that those 4 teams will come out of their divisions and compete for gold heading into districts. To keep up on all things RPN Cast, episodes are on YouTube and Spotify, but where I am most actively at for the RPN Factory, follow me on Instagram at myRPNLife, Twitter/X at ReeseJawn, Reese JAWN, and of course my site, as I drop way more on there, including surprises. Thank you all. Best of luck to all my hoopers and additional winter sport athletes in their seasons, and I will catch y'all around.